Talk about low-budget flights. No food or movies? I'm out of here. I like running better. Welcome back, YouTube viewers, to another video. So before we get into today's video, I'd like to thank you all for the support I've been getting, of course. To remind you of my 100 subscriber goal by June 11th. Hope I can reach that. And just one more thing. So my video on the first How to Train Your Dragon movie, surprisingly at the time of recordings anyways, has bombed. I thought I'd get a higher view count than that. And considering how popular those movies are, and my Kung Fu Panda videos did well, so if you're watching this and you didn't see that, I'd like for you to check that out. Maybe it's not that long. And anyway, I'm returning with my Ninjago retrospective as we cover season 3, Rebooted, and why it's the perfect revival. Okay, first episode, The Surge. So, a lot of cartoon revivals aren't the best. I mean, it just depends. You've got great ones like uh hmm actually okay, yeah. You got really good ones like the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie. But then you've got X-Men 97. Yeah, some cartoon revivals are really good, some are really bad. But since Ninjago is, well, really more of a hiatus than anything, considering how it was only about a year in between season 2 and 3, just a year without Ninjago, so they still have the same writers, all the same directors, artists, voice actors, composers, everything. So it's pretty much just more of the show. And the first episode really it reintroduces the show in such a great way. Seeing the ninja as teachers at Darkly's, no less, which is now Sensei Wu's academy, as they all get into their classic bickering with the same joke kind of humor that has not aged a bit. So many great lines from this episode. I could just quote till I die. um, Hey, who took my pudding? I specifically had my name written on it. I didn't see Motormouth on it. Relax, Jay, you can have mine. But this isn't cold. And, trouble? Danger? A new menace? No, we got clearance for a field trip. Yeah, this episode's pretty great. I love seeing New Ninjago City. It's very well animated. The Overlord's return is handled pretty well. I like Cyrus Borg. I love the ninjas' new costumes with the Techno Blades, the way the plot gets set up. Um, Again, the way the humor is, the whole episode is paced really well. So much goes on in this first episode, but none of it feels rushed. The whole thing is just done perfectly. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of a love triangle subplot introduced here, which, yeah, everybody hates it. But I don't hate it as much as other people. Not, of course, it's a dumb idea, but it doesn't take up that much screen time. We got some funny bits out of it later, so you know what, I can take it. Especially since this episode is really good. The way it dives into Kai hating technology, which never really goes anywhere, but I thought that was an interesting bit. Um, I said before, yeah, Cyrus Borg's pretty entertaining. I like the idea that Cyrus Borg, well, he sounds scared when he says it, but he probably did build Borg Tower on the place where the Overlord was destroyed to send a message to evil that we won't cower to anyone. We get another Cole likes cake joke, which can't go wrong with those. I just like seeing the ninja in the beginning, where they're not quite out of it so much as they're just tired of not being able to be ninja. Lloyd's reintroduction is great as the Golden Ninja. This whole episode just flows really well. And yeah, how could you not love the scene? Got screenshot here where the ninjas show up in their new outfits with that music. Gotta say, I love the new threads. Two can play at this game. Hiya! What's with these things? How do we turn them on? It's not sharp. Why even call it a blade? Okay, the art of the silent fist. This episode, we get reintroduced to Garmanon. I really like Garmanon's. I like how they changed his design for one thing from how it was at the end of season 2 as a human. Looks better here, and Mark Oliver is continue to give us such a great performance, especially since now he's more cheeky. It's funny. Hmm. I like the whole. Well, I like the whole scene where the ninja have to fight the ninjroids, the mech dragon chase, the whole thing in the power station with Mindroid. Ran out of metal, did they? I shall call you Mindroid. Ah, great, now they come in fun size, and then we jump back to it again. Hey, I love this song. Why'd you keep it down? Buzzkill. I always love these the character interaction, especially in the first 5 seasons, even the first 10. Well, the character interactions are all really always the best parts in Ninjago. Just not even the whole big super dramatic moments, which those are really good a lot, but usually the best character interactions are just short little ones that don't even last that long. Just a ninja getting a line or two to each other, like that one. They always really work well. Or seeing the ninja hide their vehicles by just putting trees on top of them, I always found pretty funny. Yeah, those are great disguises. Lloyd's new costume is cool. I love the scene in Garminon's dojo, especially again, another great interaction only lasts a few seconds. Garminon says, "We'll divide into groups," and then Jay just hits Kai just hits Jay on the head, and he says, "Ow!" And Garminon just looks at them and smiles and says, "Perfect." Also, yeah, it's interesting that Garminon's running a dojo here. That never is relevant ever again. It's not even mentioned. I mean, we see the environment, the background, the building a few more times, but the whole thing of him being a sensei actually teaching random people is just dropped. But it's not really a big deal. It doesn't impact the story that much. If we get more Zane and Pixel, that was interesting. And yep, this came out after Archie Sonic did this whole thing first with Zane and Pixel, except Charlotte, Nicole, and Archie, Zane and Pixel, and Ninjago. Coincidence? Yeah, it's just a coincidence. That that just because Ninjago is planned out something like a year in advance. This was probably planned out a little less, but well, actually, no, that's too much of a coincidence. And anyway, yeah, that's all I gotta say about this episode. It's really good, just like all the other episodes that I've talked about so far. Okay, Blackout. For a long time, this was my least favorite episode of the season. It still is my least favorite episode of the season. But I mean, come on, it's great. Oh, just one last thing to add to the previous episode I forgot to mention. Why in the beginning was Sensei Wu being mind wiped or whatever is ripped directly from Flash Gordon for some reason? In fact, there are a lot of Flash Gordon references in Ninjago. Not even a ton, just the fact that there are even multiple is pretty weird. I guess the Hageman brothers just liked Flash Gordon. But anyway, in this episode, the ninja are in the Jay's family junkyard looking for a compact jiggly press converter or whatever it was called. Because there's no power in Ninjago now, and they need something to fly in their vehicles, I guess. And then Tech Wu, the evil Sensei Wu with creepy red eyes and a black beard and a silver hat, shows up and beats up the ninja. And the Ninjroids will get revived with electric eels by this, and so is the Overlord by this mysterious stranger. Ooh. And yeah, this is the episode where we have to address the love triangle more. As I said before, it's a dumb plot, and I wish it didn't happen, but we get some good bits out of it. It's pretty funny to just see Jay and Cole argue with each other nonstop with all these cheesy insults. Like when Cole calls Jay a clown and he says, "I'll have you know there are many reputable performers who are clowns. You know what? You're the black ninja because that's the color of your heart." And then when they're almost crushed like the trash compactor in Star Wars, and Nia has to cut either a black or blue wire. And of course, we never find out what it is, but it's blue. I mean, come on, it's either blue or it's both of them. There's no way it was just black. Anyway, got more of. Is there any more? Yeah, Lloyd and Garminon go to Hiroshi's labyrinth. By the way, there's this just one bit in season 8 that really irks me where Lloyd says, Hiroshi's Labyrinth, places like these always have colorful names. Half the time it doesn't mean anything. Uh, yeah, you want to try telling yourself that after you were told, Hiroshi's Labyrinth, all who enter are never found. Okay, let's get lost. Yeah, Hiroshi's Labyrinth, all who enter are never found. Until they are, but. Well, it's more like they leave, they aren't found, but whatever. Yeah, this was an enjoyable one. Not a ton to say about it, other than the Tekwu bit, and yeah, the Tekwu bit's cool. I'm not super mad that we didn't get to see more of Evil Sensei Wu. I mean, I don't know where they would have fitted in. They would have to completely rewrite the rest of the season, so I'm fine with how it turned out. Then, probably my favorite episode of the season. Well, I'll tell you. Well, actually, once we get to this episode, the season really picks up. It was already really good, but now it's even better. With the episode, The Curse of the Golden Master. The ninja find out that the mysterious stranger who turned Sensei Wu evil and used the electric eels is a serpentine. So they go to the serpentine, who are, I guess they somehow got out of the um, Stone Army tomb because now they're just running out, and they think it's Scales at first who stole the hard drive that Cyrus Borg needed because he says it's really important. It contains a digital copy of the Overlord, which is why that mysterious stranger is even able to revive him to begin with. When they meet Scales, he's just pushing a shopping cart into the Serpentine tomb. And they say, we know you've got it. You've just got groceries? And the latest copy of the Ninjago Times? What can I say? I'm a sucker for the crossword. By the way, I got to meet the guy that plays Scales and Master Chen, Ian James Corlett. Really nice guy. He did a really good job here, especially in this one. He's playing a lot more of that comedic bit. I guess he's good at comedy, especially back in when he did Beast Wars in the 90s. The line, what can I say? I'm a sucker for the crosswords. I always found that to be pretty funny. And then he has a kid, and then just see the Serpentine who are trying to go straight and say, you're, you give hugs or something. You're not a thug, you give hugs, and it would be our pleasure. It's just not only is it funny, it's also just interesting to see the Serpentine, who were once, the main villains. They were a big deal, who are now trying to reform. But then Acidicus, one of the generals, spits into a fire, and we get this cool 2D sequence reminiscent of Kung Fu Panda, of the tale of the Golden Master, on how when the first Spinjitzu master created Ninjago, before he created man, he created Serpentine. And Serpentine had this fable, this legend, prophecy really, that one day the Golden Master, who had the power of the first Ninjutsu Master, would rise up and cast the world into eternal darkness. So they tried to tell the mankind about it, but I guess when you combine what we hear later on with the Serpentine War and all the tensions between man and Serpentine over the years, they eventually went to war, which I'm assuming especially happened not just after Chen's manipulation in season 4, but also they try to use the Great Devourer to scare man, I guess, into getting prepared for the Golden Master, or at least stopping it. I think it's not entirely clear, but because yeah, man thought Serpentine were the enemy, and they cast them into tombs. And the Serpentine, although yeah, they didn't want to be in tombs and they left once they got freed, says that now they're just hiding underground, as they have sworn an oath never to return to the surface, so that way they won't have to be around for the Overlord. Glad you weren't around for that mess. Makes me wonder though what the Serpentine were doing at the end of season 2. They were just sitting in this big tomb for, I don't know, about a year or something, while dragons and golden ninjas and giant armies were running around in Jago City. And this sets up something that I think was meant to happen, just never really followed through. Although it's fine that it didn't, which is that Ninja are thinking Golden Master. Is he referring to Lloyd? Because Lloyd has the power of the Golden Ninja, which I guess it's not technically setting up anything because yeah, it's just the Overlord steals the golden power later and becomes the Golden Master. That's it. But hey, still interesting. But the best part of this episode is definitely, well, one, Jay does this weird laugh he used to do in the first 2 seasons. This is the last time he ever does it. The ha ha. Okay, that's not the best part of the episode. The best part is with Garmadon and Lloyd in Hiroshi's labyrinth. An interesting part with the characters where Lloyd says, "Hi, that's all I ever seem to do." And Garmadon tells him that his power, People want his power. It tempts. And that one day even his friends could try to take it. That's why he always has to be on his guard, always hiding. His power has to be protected, honored. And Lloyd says, "My friends would never do that." Which of course they wouldn't, but hey, who knows? But then of course, Tech Wu and the androids show up because they were being tracked. And yeah, they have this cool chase. Oh, and I can't believe I completely. Since we're on the topic of Garmin and Lloyd, may as well get into what happened in the previous episode because I forgot about that. With the Lloyd training with Garminon on moving mountains and the bird and that. I really like that bit. It kind of reminds me of the bit in season 2 where the ninja are training Lloyd and Sensei Wu says, "Before you can bear the weight of Ninjago on your shoulders, you must bear the weight of all 5 of us." And he has the 4 ninja and Sensei Wu, of course, sitting on top of Lloyd's back as he has to carry them. And now he has to carry this gigantic mountain of rocks. Pretty funny. Nice reference, too. Although I don't think that was meant to be a reference. But anyway, yeah, after the Lloyd gets chased, and then Garmadon gets captured by Tech Wu and gets brought to the mech dragon. And Lloyd wants to fight, but then a purple robot snake thing wraps him up. And then the mysterious stranger walks up to himself, walks up to Lloyd, pulls off his hood, and reveals that it's Pythor the whole time. Ninjago has some of the all-time best twists in animation. First it was Zane being a robot, then it's Pythor being the mysterious stranger. He now has white skin instead of purple skin because he says that unlike Wu, Wu managed to escape unscathed. I suffered a worse fate, digested in the bowels of the devourer. Also, yeah, Pythor has this weird scratchy voice in this episode, which he doesn't have ever again. I guess Michael Dobson just needed to get used to doing the voice again. But anyway, Garmadon gets tossed off the mech dragon into the ocean and seemingly drowns, and then Lloyd gets kidnapped so they can take away his power. And everything seems pretty much doomed. Oh, and there's that subplot about Dareth taking the kids to the aquarium and getting chased by the mysterious stranger. That's a pretty funny subplot. Why can't we go someplace cool, like an amusement park with the toxic bogs? Because until your regular teachers are out saving the world, done saving the world, it's my job to make sure nothing bad happens to you. Now, excuse me for 1 second. Get back into this soon. Okay, we're back after conveniently stopped halfway through the episode. Okay, now enter the Digiverse, which might have one of the greatest endings of any episode in the entire show. So the ninja are gonna get put into the Digiverse. Weren't you paying attention? He's going to put us into the video game. I know. I just wanted to hear it again. The ninja here. Hey, I am not an airhead. Yeah, this episode's probably the most quotable of the season. So Ninja are gonna be put into the Digiverse where the digital overlord resides, so they can use the Technoblaze to erase the overlord virus once and for all. But at the same time, Lloyd is having his golden power drained, and the Ninjroids are marching up on Borg Tower to stop the ninja, because if the ninja can't, if the access point, this button thing that will transport the ninja into the Digiverse is destroyed, the ninja will be trapped there forever. So they'll pretty much just be dead, in a way, I guess. And so yeah, the ninja dive into the Digiverse, where we find out that Kai is an airhead. And the ninja fight this giant purple overlord thing, even after they manage to put the Technoblades into this control tower and seemingly erase the overlord virus. Yep, they still can't win. The androids start marching up on Borg Tower, confront all the people there who are trying to defend it. Lloyd's golden power is almost completely drained aboard the mech dragons, but keep cutting between scenes. Garmadon fights Tech Wu. because he survived, so he's able to swim up to the shore, dressed up as a Ninjroid to infiltrate the Ninjroids, then gets to fight Pythor, as Pythor says, "What, but you swore an oath to never fight again!" And Garmadon just says, "But when you took my son, all bets were off." And then, while that's all happening, the ninja have to fight, yeah, this giant purple overlord monster, and they clearly cannot win. Because the only reason Overlord's even able to do this is because he's absorbed so much golden power. And as he says, "This is my turf!" And he says, "Then you can't win." Or something like that. But Zane, since there is golden power here technically, is able to tap into it and gets this super cool golden ninja design. As he says, "You're wrong, Overlord. The good guys may not always win, but they never give up." And he's able to get the other Jay and Cole to jump into the golden ninja light and gain the power to try to stop the Overlord. But Kai just can't get into it. Another great scene for Kai. He just can't. He just can't dive into it, and the Overlord is taunting him until he says, and Kai is able to face off against the Overlord by saying, "I allow my." Yeah, the Overlord says, "I will not allow you to move." And Kai says, "Then I allow myself." And then Ninja make all their golden power, creates a super cool image that drowns the Overlord in golden power, I guess, and he blows up. And then the Ninja wake up in the present day, and since the Overlord, or in the physical world, since the Overlord virus was destroyed, all the Ninjroids turn good, then shut themselves off. And that means the Mech Dragon is crashing that has Lloyd aboard it, and yeah, he lost 90% of his golden power. And Mech Dragon is gonna crash, but he's able to get out. He survives. Sensei Buu is turned good again. The day is saved, and everyone's happy. Except, of course, since there's 3 more episodes of this season, we find out that since the Overlord did absorb most of the golden power, on the crashed Mech Dragon we see a pod opening with a bunch of purple goop coming out of it as it says, "Free." Okay, codename Arcturus. Okay, I couldn't get a screenshot for this one, but I mean, the picture of the X1 Ninja Charger Lego set is all you need to know, of course. Seriously, this is one of the coolest sets of the wave. This is the giant Lego car, but the best one. This was probably my favorite episode of the season for years. It's just so likable. I mean, half of the episode, or at least about half, is about Kai in a car chase. What more could you want? He just shows off how funny he is, and yeah. What made Kai's humor work before season 11 was that Kai didn't make jokes. His personality just made for good humor. Jay is the one who's supposed to make jokes. So, yeah. The Ninjroids are building this rocket ship because they're evil again, which makes sense. They could have just been reprogrammed. Because Pythor says that the Overlord is still alive, but he will reveal himself when he chooses to. And so the Ninjroids and Pythor are in trucks carrying rocket fuel, and the closest one is Kai, so he has to get on this cool car and chase them down, where he says, when have I ever been careless? And he gets to fight the Ninjroids, well, almost gets caught in the explosion of a gas tanker. Gets to run on top of the trucks, hides underneath them as he says, "They'll never find my perfect hiding spot," as he's contacting Sensei Wu. And then, of course, Pythor looks underneath and says, "You! Me?" And then he punches Kai in the face. And Kai's kidnapped, so the other 3 ninja, we catch up with Jay and Cole and Nia watching Fritz Donegan, which I just realized now that Fritz Donegan is probably supposed to be like Flash Gordon. Yeah, I guess the writers in Ninjago just really like Flash Gordon. Fear is no word where I come from. And we get another interesting bit, which is important later, where Wu and Garmadon say, Arcturus. Long ago, brother, didn't we face a Serpentine general by that name? Indeed we did. Because this episode is very important to the continuity. Because remember, at the end of Wrong Place, Wrong Time in Season 2, Sensei Wu was looking out into space or the sky, and he saw a golden globe, one of the stars, which is obviously meant to be the golden weapons. So we find out here that Arcturus, whatever that is, probably they find out it's probably a rocket ship because the Ninjroids 1 are carrying rocket fuel, so duh. And then 2, they know they have something called Project Arcturus, and that the Overlord really wants to become the Golden Master. The only way he'd do that is to get the golden weapons, which are in space. Oh, and the episode opens with a ninja finally getting elemental powers without needing weapons because they're back on the Temple of Light, which must have been a long trip to get back to the Temple of Light. And Lloyd gives up his ability to use the 4 elements to get to them, and they all have super cool elemental powers now. And yep, the other 4 ninja, well, not Kai obviously, they sneak aboard. They go into the city of Ouroboros because they figure that Pythor, it's about space, rocket ship, duh. Pythor's a serpentine, so naturally they're in the city of Ouroboros. I'm pretty sure this is the last time we ever see Ouroboros too. So there's nothing there except, of course, the ground opens up because why wouldn't it? And reveals where the Ninjroids are hiding, and the ninja have to save Kai, who's gonna be eaten by. I mean, Pythor swallowed that judge in Royal Blacksmiths, and he says, "Who's ready for barbecues? Because we're about to have one." To Kai, and he says to Cyrus Borg, who the Ninjroids kidnapped again to finish Project Arcturus, he says, "Prepare lunch. I mean launch." And yeah, considering how Pythor ate his entire race, I wouldn't put it past him to eat people. The ninjas sneak into the rocket ship bunker, save Kai, but the Ninjroids are getting off in the rocket ship to fly to space anyway. And some of the ninja want to go, Lloyd and Kai and Zane, but Jay and Cole don't want to do it because they think, as Cole says, "Are you crazy? Ninja don't belong in space." And Lloyd says, "You said nothing would ever separate us ever again, so are you with me or not?" And the ninja board the rocket ship and fly into space. And all we see, Garmanon, Sensei Wu, Pixel, and Nia ride up to Ouroboros to see the rocket ship going into space. And Garmanon says, "You said you wanted to push them far. But how far? How far must they go?" Okay, the void. People have suggested before that, what if we get a Ninjago starbound wave with a ninja go into space? I'm glad that didn't happen, because if Ninjago went into space, it would just fall into the same pitfall as Prime Empire, which is that there's only so far you can push Ninjago into different genres. Ninjago being about ghosts or uh, Dungeons and Dragons type things. Mad Max, post-apocalyptic wastelands, that fits, but when the ninja literally go into space, that just takes things too far. But it's nice to get just one episode here. So, oh boy. The ninja are in the rocket ship with the Ninjroids flying to this comet where the golden weapons landed, where they have to chase them to snatch the golden weapons and take them back on the rocket ship and bring them to Earth before the Overlord can get them. And of course, the Ninjroids and Pythor and Cyrus Borg have this capsule thing containing the Overlord, or what's left of him anyway. They're bringing it up to Borg Tower, and they're going to capture Sensei Wu, Garmanon, Nia, and Pixel. Just another great bit I loved here that I never see anyone talk about. The Overlord has such a menacing presence in Season 3, even though he's pretty much the disembodied voice for almost the entirety of Ninjago, really. So when they play his theme song as the capsule opens, he says, "Now is the beginning of the Golden Master." This is my best Scott McNeil. And well, it's really cool. The whole chase for the golden weapons on the comet is really cool. And yeah, seeing the ninja as astronauts in space is fun if it's just a novelty one episode thing like this. It's enjoyable. The music is great as always. The action. Also, I like seeing that ninja that touches the golden weapons and then blows up. As General Cryptor says, Only the Overlord can withstand the power of all four weapons. My best Richard Newman. And then the ninja. Okay, so before they're even spotted on the comet, they see these cool little bug things, which Wu, Garmadon, Nia, and Pixel are back in Garmadon's dojo actually, and they're using radios to contact them, I guess. And Nia says that aboard a piece of the comet crashed to Earth once, and those little bug things don't touch them because they eat through metal, and they start eating through the ninjas' spacesuits as well as Zane because he's a robot. And then so the ninjas sick him on the Ninjroids, and they try to make it to the shuttle with the golden weapons too, except the bugs completely ate the shuttle, so now they can't get home. Then the Ninjroids just sneak up on them, snatch the golden weapons, and since they're robots, they can breathe in space, so they just fly out of the comet into space to Earth. And the ninja are pretty much doomed now, leading into the final episode of the season, the Titanium Ninja. So the ninja, okay, well, one, this Ninjroid are now on. The Overlord now is the golden weapons and is now a minifigure. I really like his design here. He marches into the Ninjroids with his cane for some reason, a cape, and his, as always, menacing voice. And he sees the golden weapons being melted down into the golden armor, which is a mech suit, not armor, but whatever. Yes! Yes! Yeah, that voice is really hard to do. In fact, I wonder if the Overlord is still played by Scott McNeil in season 16. I guess he just. Maybe the director asked for a different voice, but could he just not do the voice anymore? I mean, it's pretty hard in your throat, so I don't know. Anyway, the ninja are still being contacted on the comet and how they're doomed. But then Lloyd realizes that with the ninja's elemental powers, their smarts, and what remains of the rocket ships, they can build their own rocket. Ooh, you have built your own rocket kit? And so the ninja use their makeshift rocket, built on a bubblegum and a wish, and fly to Earth, to Ninjago, where they land in their vehicles as they're told, "Welcome home, Ninja." And they all look really cool, but the Overlord already started attacking Ninjago City, as he's says, "Prepare for battle," as he makes all the buildings rise up to form a kind of castle thing, and he gets bigger and bigger, and the ninja ride up to the city, but Jay says, "That's not a city, that's a fortress." And as Garmadon says, ominously, "Beyond these walls lies the Golden Master, with the powers of the first Spinjitzu Master." But they get a message from Cyrus Borg, who tells them that since he was able to escape the Ninjroid, since they kicked him out pretty much, that he's in a stronghold in the middle of the city. The what was it called? The Temple of Fortitude, which the Overlord used to block the golden the first Spinjitzu Master's golden power during the Stone Army Wars. So the ninja figure out that if they can get to there, one, they can get to see whatever Cyrus Borg is cooking up, and it'll have a seal that can fend off the Overlord's powers. But that means they have to actually go into the city, so while Nia fights Ninjroids, and everyone else has to escape, including the ninja getting busted out of their vehicles as they fly out, and the Overlord says, "Well, well, the famous ninja have time for a meet and greet. Let's dance." And then he does Spinjitzu and starts winding up, and cars start flying everywhere, and the ninja have to run away. They manage to make it with Wu and Garmadon to the Temple of Fortitude. As they lock themselves up in it just in the nick of time, where Cyrus Borg reveals his weapon that can defeat the Overlord once and for all. It is well protected. What is it? I say firepower. It's a pill? Not just any pill. A diet pill that actually works. And Kai says, "Really? That's it?" And Garmadon says, "When you're older, you'll understand why it's so important. Tell me, Borg, does it work?" Maybe one day they will invent diet pills that actually work. And Cyrus Borg says that, well, it does not shrink your waistline, it does shrink yourself. So Sensei Wu and Garland mentioned that they used to be great at playing ball, I guess. So they want, as Kai said, is you want us to get close enough to this guy with one touch could turn us can make us toast, and he wants to give him a pill? Precisely. But Wu says that yeah, he can just hit it like a baseball bat as Garmadon throws it to him, and then it'll land right in the Overlord's mouth because they were really good at playing baseball as a kid, as kids. And the ninja have to fight the Overlord, who has gotten so big now he's on this gigantic golden power web thing like a huge spider. The ninja, of course, they get captured by the Overlord, beaten up easily. Oh, and the Serpentines show up. They open up the manhole covers and yell at all the people in Ninjago City to follow me to safety. And Jay says, they're on our side now? Nice character development for the Serpentine. Anyway, the ninja are all trapped, except for Zane. We get probably the most famous scene in the entire show. As Zane says, support me, friends, for one last time. He jumps onto the Overlord's mech and doesn't let go as he starts coming apart. And Zane's sacrifice. Just you should watch it again, even if you've already seen it 1,000 times like I have. Where the Overlord says, "You can't beat me," and Zane says, "It's not about numbers, it's about family," just like he was told before. Get the first and one of the only good uses, if not the only good use, of his theme. Which now that I think about it, that same music was actually used in the flashback when he found out he was a robot. So yeah, I guess this music should only have been used here and there, but that's it. Zane's face starts coming apart since he's a robot. I guess since he's a robot, though, he was able to withstand the golden power, and he's also an elemental master. He starts shooting ice at the Overlord. He starts hovering in the air, I guess, through this power. The Overlord starts freezing. Everyone's looking on in horror as all the ninja are able to escape and make it to the manhole cover as they watch as Zane blows up. The Overlord screams, "No!" And the entire city gets encased with ice, including the Ninjroids, who instantly shatter as never forget the image of the Overlord's gigantic helmet falling onto the Ninjago City streets and rolling by the ninja. And then we get Zane's funeral, where Cyrus Borg unveils the Titanium Ninja, a huge statue built in Zane's honor, where the Falcon even shows up to sit on it. And Kai gives a speech. Everyone wondered what powered Zane. I don't know if we'll ever know, but I'd like to think it was brotherhood. And wherever, and he power, we don't know what powered him, but he'll still power me, wherever you are, Zane. I want you to know that. Yeah, I can't remember the speech exactly, but it went something like that. And then it just starts snowing somehow, as if Zane's presence from heaven, I guess, can make it snow. Don't think about it. It's beautiful. And then we get one extra scene that I don't think should have been in this episode. So Pixel hears something and runs into Borg Tower. She finds that Zane is rebuilding himself or something. I hear his voice and everything. But since this scene is so short, I wish it were just cut from the episode. Well, everybody knew Zane was gonna come back. I mean, he had to. I wish they just saved that for season 4. I'll just be fair, the first few times I watched this episode, I didn't even see that scene for some reason. So, as far as I knew, watching season 4 when it first came out, it was a big surprise that Zane was alive. But yeah, really powerful moment in this episode. There's a reason this is probably considered the best season finale of the show. I mean, I still prefer season 1's finale, but it's still really good. It's season 3 of Ninjago. It's the classics. And yeah, that's all I gotta say for season 3. As said, this is the perfect revival. Why is that? Well, one, it's really good as you can tell, but also, yeah, the writing never stopped being really good from season 2. You'd expect it to maybe take a bit of a dive, and I like season 3 more than season 2. Season 2 is still really good, but I like season 3 a little more. The Overlord is still great. Piper's reintroduction is great. The characters are still on point. You can see that nothing was lost in this revival. Everything flowed perfectly as if the show had never even left, which is really impressive. That's a testament to all the people involved in it. So yeah, for few people in the comments, I'd like to ask, what did you think of season 3? Do you think it's really the great revival the show deserved, or what? You're gonna see me on casting my profile in the Casting Call Club, and that's all for now. And as always, keep on juicing.